Long before you reach Tibet, the world begins to rise. Mountains appear first, small, distant, almost shy. Then they grow, stretching upward in jagged lines, until the entire horizon becomes a wall of stone scraping against the sky. The air thins, the winds sharpen, and every mile forward feels like stepping off the earth you once knew. This is the ascent into the Tibetan plateau, a world so high, so vast, it is called the roof of the world. Here, you are already above the clouds. The land stretches endlessly in all directions, a frozen desert of rock, sand, and wind. It feels ancient, older than memory, older than time. The surface is cracked and sunburned, shaped by centuries of storms that no human witnessed. Each gust of wind carries dust from ages long before any civilization existed. And as your lungs begin to struggle, your heartbeat grows louder, reminding you that even breathing here is a negotiation with the land. At 15,000 feet above sea level, oxygen becomes a luxury. Your breath shortens. Your vision softens. The world sways gently, like the land is testing your presence. This is altitude that refuses comfort, a place that strips away all weakness and exposes the limits of the human body. Yet life exists here, delicate, stubborn, and impossibly brave. Wild yaks move across the plains in slow, deliberate steps, their heavy coats rippling in the cold wind. Snow leopards watch from distant cliffs, their silent eyes hidden behind layers of stone. And the plateau itself hums with a faint, steady vibration, as if the land is breathing beneath your feet. This is not emptiness. It is a world alive in ways you cannot see. As the sun rises, the sky turns a deep sapphire blue, the kind of blue you only find when the air is thin enough to taste. Shadows stretch across the mountains like dark rivers, and the entire landscape glows with a quiet, surreal beauty. It is a silence so complete it feels sacred. Scattered across the plateau are ancient stone structures, shrines built by travelers, who crossed these harsh lands long before roads or maps existed. They stand alone against the wind, decorated with faded prayer flags, their edges torn by countless winters. These flags whisper endlessly, sending quiet messages into the sky as if speaking to the land itself. And in this moment, you understand something simple. Tibet is not just a place on Earth. It is a borderland between worlds, where the ground is too high for comfort and the sky is too close to ignore. But the deeper mysteries of the plateau lie ahead. Beyond the valleys of bone-dry rivers, beyond the storms that can erase the horizon in seconds, beyond the ancient lakes shimmering like blue mirrors under a burning sun, there lies a region so isolated, so hidden, that only a few humans have ever seen it, a place where Earth feels untouched, unclaimed, unreachable. And that is where the journey now leads. The deeper you travel into the Tibetan plateau, the more the world begins to stretch into silence. The air grows thinner, the land emptier, and the sky wider than you ever imagined. Here, distance is a strange illusion. Mountains appear close enough to touch, yet remain hours, sometimes days, away. This is a place where scale breaks, where your mind struggles to measure the infinite. As you move forward, the wind sharpens into a blade. It cuts through your clothes, your breath, your strength. The sun burns fiercely at this altitude, but its warmth never reaches your skin. Light feels distant, cold, metallic. Shadows move differently here, stretching long and thin across the plateau, shifting with the slow patience of a world untouched by human time. Far below the horizon, small settlements appear. Fragile clusters of whitewashed houses, surrounded by prayer wheels spinning endlessly in the wind. Their rotation is slow, steady, hypnotic, as if powered by the breath of the mountains themselves. People here live with a calm acceptance of the harshness around them. Each step is deliberate, each moment is earned. Survival is not a challenge, it is a practice. Ahead lies a vast plain known as the Changtang, an ancient highland desert so remote that maps barely mark its borders. The ground is cracked and dry, but beneath it runs a frozen heart, ice locked deep within the soil, melting only under the fiercest sun. Wild horses roam here in small bands, moving with shadows long enough to touch the horizon. Their hooves stir dust that has lain untouched for centuries. The wind shifts suddenly, carrying with it a low, distant hum. A sound that is neither animal nor storm, but something older. At first it seems like an echo, so faint you doubt it's real. But as you step closer to the edge of a cliff, the sound deepens, a resonant vibration rolling through the earth itself. Below lies a valley carved by time, not by rivers or glaciers, but by raw tectonic power. Jagged ridges twist through the ground like scars left by ancient wounds. Steam rises from fissures, hinting at the fierce geological life beneath this quiet world. The earth moves here, slowly, but not silently. A reminder that even the plateau, with all its stillness, is alive. The sun begins to fall and the temperature drops with startling speed. Within minutes, the warmth of day vanishes into the thin air. Frost forms on stones, on grass, on your breath. The night arrives suddenly, without warning, without mercy. At this altitude, darkness is different. It does not descend. It expands. The stars appear one by one, then all at once, filling the sky in a brilliance that steals your breath more than the altitude ever could. Constellations shine with metallic clarity, and the Milky Way cuts across the heavens like a river of fire. The sky feels impossibly close, as if you could reach out and touch the edge of the universe. In the far distance, something moves. A faint glimmer of light dances across the surface of a lake so still, it reflects the night sky with perfect clarity. Approaching it feels like walking toward a second world, a mirror realm where the land and sky exchange places. This is the hidden heart of the plateau, a place where reality feels thin, delicate, uncertain. The wind softens, carrying with it an ancient murmur, perhaps from the mountains, perhaps from the earth, or perhaps from something unseen. In Tibet, the boundaries between the natural and the spiritual do not just blur, they disappear. And somewhere beyond this silent lake, beyond the cliffs shaped by forgotten storms, lies a region even more isolated, a place known only by a few. A place deeper than the desert, higher than the clouds, and older than any kingdom that ever lived. A place untouched by roads, untouched by time, untouched by anything human. And that is where the final part of the journey begins. Beyond the silent lake lies a region so remote, so hidden that even the winds seem hesitant to enter. The land rises once more, peeling upward into sharp ridges and narrow plateaus that slice the horizon into uneven shards. Oxygen thins again, turning each breath into a quiet negotiation. This final ascent is not steep, but it feels heavy, as if the land itself is testing your resolve before revealing its last secret. The ground shifts from stone to powdery earth, a soft ochre dust that clings to your boots and glows faintly under the raw sunlight. Prayer flags appear unexpectedly, bright flashes of color tied between stones, fluttering in the cold wind like whispers of forgotten intentions. No one knows who placed them here. No paths lead to them. They stand alone, at the edge of nowhere, speaking to a sky that feels too close, too vast, too ancient. As you continue upward, the world opens suddenly. A massive, bowl-shaped valley spreads below you, silent, untouched, drenched in a golden haze that seems to rise from the earth itself. This place has no roads, no villages, no trace of footsteps. Its edges are lined with cliffs carved by ancient winds, their surfaces etched with lines that look almost like scripture. A thin, delicate river winds through the valley floor, shining like a thread of liquid silver under the afternoon sun. This is the plateau's hidden crown, a world within a world. Unreachable, unclaimed, unseen. The silence here is overwhelming. Not empty, alive. You feel it in your chest, in your fingertips, in the rhythm of your own heartbeat. A deep, ancient pulse that resonates with the mountains, as if the land is speaking in vibrations instead of words. It is a language older than human memory, older than breath, older than sound. Above you, shadows glide across the cliffs. Wild birds circle effortlessly in the thin air, drifting with wings barely moving. Their cries echo against the stone, a haunting sound that dissolves into the wind almost as soon as it appears. They are guardians of a world untouched, witnesses to centuries of storms and seasons that humans never saw. As the sun begins its descent, the light changes, golden at first, then amber, then a deep smoldering red. The entire valley transforms into a glowing basin of fire and shadow. The cliffs ignite with color, the river becomes a ribbon of molten gold, and the sky turns a violet so rich it feels unreal. Here at the top of the world, sunset is not a moment, it is an event. The cold returns swiftly, climbing the air with invisible fingers. Frost forms instantly on the stones, catching the last light and scattering it into 1,000 tiny sparks. The temperature falls with shocking speed, reminding you again that beauty here is never separate from danger. Night rises like a curtain. Stars ignite across the sky in a brilliance that feels impossible. The Milky Way spills overhead like a glowing river, brighter here than almost anywhere on Earth. The darkness is deep, perfect, untouched, so pure it feels like the universe is opening directly above you. And in that moment, as the wind softens and the land exhales, you understand the truth of the plateau. This world was never meant for roads, never meant for crowds, never meant for anything loud or hurried or temporary. This place exists for silence, for time, for the earth itself. Here, at the very roof of the world, you see what remains when humanity steps aside. A planet still wild, still ancient, still powerful. A planet that remembers what it was long before we arrived, and will remain long after we are gone. This is the Tibetan Plateau, a land untouched, a land unreachable, a land that reminds us that not all places were meant to be seen, but they still shape the world in ways we cannot understand. And as you take your final breath of thin, sacred air, you realize something simple, powerful, and undeniable. Some corners of Earth do not belong to people. They belong to the Earth alone.